Okay, I swallowed the Tootsie Roll and we're good now. So go ahead and start this meeting. Attendance, Barrett, Bullard, Drake, Draith,
Here.
Swiger, Hildebrand Shell, Scholl, Ward, Black, me, I'm here, and Vic is not here yet. So we'll give that a minute. Do we have any changes for the minutes from last time?
I was a little confused when in our conversation when we were talking about at the very end, how notifying city council of the date of the Ray Mendoza award. And I think Commissioner Barrett was a little confused how they had not gotten that from you, city manager, and you'd said, in the meeting, you said, no, I didn't let them know. But in an email correspondence with Catherine in August, you said, so I can notify our city council to get on their fall calendars. And I kind of felt like you threw us all under the bus at our last meeting, like it was on us that we didn't notify city council of that event. And evidently you had told one of our commissioners that you were going to do that. And I kind of felt like that was inappropriate to throw our body under the bus that way.
Madam Chair. So thank you for the comment, Commissioner Black. The invitations to this event were, from my understanding, were always at your control. And the fact that we invited, or you all invited on your own, Mr. Mendoza to the event, and on your own, you invited my police chief, interim police chief, to the event. The question there last time was, are we going to invite the city council? Well, you all were calling, to me, in my view, the shots of who was being invited and who wasn't. So there was, well, that's just, that's how I look at it. So here's the question. The question was that Commissioner Boulard did agree and did bring up invitations for all our counselors, and they were distributed at the meeting last Tuesday. So there was an invitation. It came out from the Trust Commission, as we talked about in our meeting last time. And so it was there. I have been talking to them individually about the fact that this meeting is coming up on the 18th and letting them know that it would be featuring Mr. Mendoza's award from the Trust Commission, and also that they would be invited to that. So, you know,
So you did notify them.
I talked to them all and visited with them about it coming up. I just felt the official invitation, I mean, because you invited everybody else, should come from you, and you did. But as to your point, you can't wait till the week before because they get busy.
Well, I think because the assumption was is you had already notified him and you had. I just want our minutes to show on the record that they were notified by city manager ahead of time, that they were welcome at that event. Thank you.
Yeah, and if I could clarify that comment, I discussed it with them on one-on-one meetings that I had with them. But the idea is that they were still invited by an invitation that was hand carried to our city manager's office, and invitation was placed in their box.
Let's to keep on the minutes, talk first. So would we like to change that in the minutes from last time? All in favor of changing it? Motion passes. Okay. Anything else for the minutes from last time? Okay. As far as the agenda goes, I would like to move the city manager report down to the end like we normally have it, just so we can get through our presentation stuff and then see how it goes. Because that's really on my brain right now. So are you guys okay with that? If we just bump that down a little bit, okay. Okie dokie then. Public comment. There's a public here. I would like to talk. Please do. Yeah.
Of course not. George Gartles, Loveland. This is the first time I've attended this meeting. I want to my gratitude to everybody who has stuck it out for the duration. When this group was convened, there was a lot of upheaval and a lot of give and take about where this group would go. And I just want to say thank you and hats off for stepping up and doing something that a lot of people would not do, and that's to take a look and do a little bit of soul searching and having the integrity and courage to, whatever your report is going to be, that it will be presented. And my hope is that your efforts will not be for naught, that there will be something that happens from that, that it won't be swept aside. I will be here tomorrow to hear what is going to go on. And, so more than anything else, I want to thank you for doing what you've done. And you've set an example for the rest of the folks in Loveland that this is something that all of us can do. So thank you and have fun.
I'm blushing.
DB Cooper, for those of you who know that. Okay. Probably a day late and $1 short, but I have followed your commission from afar. Probably should have been here to help you out, but I too, as George said, want to thank you for what you have done. Okay, you did step forward and you took on a task that a lot of people probably wouldn't have. And leaders, wherever they exist, one of their primary responsibilities is to create an environment where their followers can succeed. And in this case, the leaders were those people who sit up there, okay, that city council. And to me, they did not create an environment where you can succeed. And I think they failed mightily there. And if you want names, I think it's Fogel, I think it's Olson, okay? To me, they did not support you. And I think that was terrible. And to those of us who sit out here and notice that, boy, I don't know. But again, I want to thank you, as George did, for what you did. And I don't know what your final report is going to say tomorrow night, but like George said, I'll be watching there too. So in the long run, you won. And those people up there, they lost. Okay, thank you.
Anybody else feel like speaking? Anybody, is there anybody online?
Thank you, Chair Mayor. If you would like to speak during public comment, please choose the raise your hand feature or press *9. User Casey M, please accept the request to unmute. You are unmuted and may begin your public comment.
Good evening, Commissioners. And I too want Casey Mullins, Ward 2. I too would like to thank you for hanging in there, for being willing to serve on this commission. I was one that would not, because I felt that it was destined and set up to fail from the beginning. And you all did not fail. From the beginning, you were not given clear direction. From the beginning, you were not given clear direction from either city council or city administration. And I believe that you as commissioners can hold your head up no matter what, because you were willing to step forward and serve our community in the best interest of our community. And I can't thank you enough for doing that. And I will also be there to see you, to see your presentation tomorrow night. And I hope that you are able to lay out some of the challenges that you were faced with by not getting clear direction at the very beginning, because you had to spend plenty of time identifying who you were and what you were doing. Thank you again for all you've done for our community.
User with the name Bob Massaro, please accept this request to unmute.
Good evening, Commissioners. I'll say the same thing. You folks went through a very tough time here. I have watched many of the meetings and attended some. I have read the report that's currently up on the city site. I think it's well done. To me, it's going to be extremely interesting how the city council responds to the recommendations that you've made so far. I realize it's not the final version, or may not be the final version. But again, compliments for hanging in there. This was a really tough road to hoe. And some of the recommendations you're making are going to be very interesting to see whether the council will accept those as recommendations. So again, job well done, folks. We'll see you tomorrow night.
Thank you. All right, guys. Thanks, guys. Thanks, everybody.
We do not have any more public
I was
comment.
I saw no more hands raised. I was trying to keep it on. Sorry. Yeah, we are going to go over our slide presentation, so you guys get a little sneak peek. So let's talk about the award, the presentation that happened on Saturday. I think it went really well. There was a good amount of attendees. Catherine, you want to recap it? Do you want to add anything? Jane D. Decker donated the award, which was really, really awesome.
Yes, she did. So we don't have to pay for that, but
Yeah.
she felt very strongly that she wanted to pay the city back for all the support that she's received. And we have a little card going around. If you would sign it, I'll get that to her to thank her for that. It includes a statue of Mr. Mendoza holding, or a picture of Mr. Mendoza holding the sculpture, and it's very touching. And he was very touched by the presentation. I've talked to him a couple of times, voicemail and email and text. And in one of them, We sent him a picture of him shaking hands with the chief. And we asked permission. Thankfully, Jeffrey thought it would be a good idea to get his permission before we do that. And, you know, it could have been a triggering event to see that in our presentation. But I asked if there were any objections, and he said, oh, no, this is a great picture. That is exactly what he was after, to help other Hispanics, other people, but particularly Hispanics, stand up and speak up when they see something wrong. So he feels very good about what happened, and I think it's great. And I also think that Tara has a wonderful idea about getting in touch with him maybe after we're no longer a commission and just writing to him, thanking him, giving him our email, our phone number, saying, you know, if there's ever any trouble because of this, you have a bunch of people who will be your allies and who will stand next to you. That's all.
I also received a little message from Karen Garner's family, and she just wanted to thank the commission on behalf of the family for all of our efforts. So she wanted that to get communicated. And she also said that everybody in the family was smiling all day Sunday morning. So yeah, she was super appreciative of everything that happened. And I just wanted for that whole, like everybody who got on stage, I wanted to thank the city and Heart and Soul for that partnership that you guys have created that environment where people felt safe enough to all get on stage after this really scary event had happened. And I know several of them were really nervous to get up there. And so I just wanted to thank the city and Heart and Soul for creating a place like that, that everybody was so positive and supportive. And then there was like 3 comments that I saw on the internet today that overwhelmingly, everybody's kind of, I think, in shock at the outcome. And one of the comments was, I never thought I'd live to see the day that there'd be some accountability. May this be just a taste of more to come. We needed this a century ago. And then another comment was like, this is a wonderful outcome, not without its tragedies on several levels. And another comment was like, I'm surprised but glad he was accepted and acknowledged for doing good. So I read so many comments that people were like, wow, we never see this in a community. And this was a national, people were commenting from all over the nation. And so they were like, wow, this would never happen in our community. And, oh, I remember that video, but to see this outcome was positive. So I thought like, oh, a little seed has been planted and hopefully it's all for, a good thing.
I guess I would like to add that I was really happy that Chief Stewart agreed to say stuff and say, like, take the accountability and just make that known and make more connections. I thought that was really good. So I don't know. I left happy. Went back to work. It was good. All right. Anything else on that?
And
Yeah.
I was disappointed in the Reporter Herald's piece. I know that Will Costello talked to me and he said he understood that there were some people were really concerned about what Stewart had said. And I said, no. I said, absolutely the opposite. We're absolutely thrilled. And I'd like to see the Reporter Herald, I don't know what, but say something. I don't know whether that's appropriate at this point or not, Erin.
Will came up to me after the presentation and he missed when the chief spoke. He asked me, did you get that? And I act like I'm really good with this phone, but I'm not. And I tried to record it and it did not record. But I got all the moose that I saw yesterday on, it worked. But when I was up in the park. So I apologize for that, but somehow he missed everything the chief said. So that's why nothing that the chief said is in the Reporter Herald.
I'd love to hear it again.
Well, yeah, it was really powerful what the chief said. And I wanted the city to know, like, you all know how I feel about the calls. I've been very loud on this commission, but it was really powerful and I know it made an impact. So I thought we should really write a special thank you note to the interim chief for that because I was impressed. Yeah.
Any more? Question on it? I agree. I think, yes, so I move to create a thank you note for Chief Stewart. All in favor? Or wait, second. All in favor? Yeah, amend, yeah. And Mayor Marsh. Okay, thank you notes. Oh, to send it to the Reporter Herald? A thank you note to the Reporter Herald? Oh, okay. This is all actions.
Wasn't in there. Might have been in the Colorado. People didn't get it.
Okay, so motion on the table. Thank you notes for the mayor and Chief Stewart. Let's do let's
Well, Rich, what's
speakers, right? Yes.
Yeah,
thank you.
if that's the case, I think we should do two. I don't think we should link in Andrea and Ball to the same thing. That was like, anything really to do with it. You know, we worked hard all the time to get the chief here many times to speak with him and that. So if we want to do that, I would say do two, but I'm really not totally in favor of thanking people for showing up and doing their job. Thank you.
Okay, so motion on the table. I thank you note to Chief Stewart, interim Chief Stewart, and I thank you note to the Mayor Marsh. We can thank the other counselors at tomorrow. But we can thank them tomorrow during our presentation. That works. So 2 thank you notes. All in favor? Any opposed? Okay, motion passes. Okay,
Question,
Yes.
who's writing the thank yous? The 2.5 or whatever hours I spent doing the others, it's like.
I'll do that. Check. Boom. All right. So then we're going to run through the presentation for tomorrow. What I'd like to do is I'm going to go slide by slide. We'll discuss them. Anything you guys think needs to be said, I'm going to take notes on it so that I can just include it or not into my presentation. Shane's not here. I don't know where he is, but he and I are going to tag team on it tomorrow. And then as we go through the slides, sometimes the subcommittees might be called on to jump in. All right. I have a clicker. All right, anything on the front that we want to say right up front? I don't think so, but. All right. So here's our first slide. So I want everyone to read it. I'm speaking for the group, so I'd like everyone's thoughts and feelings, and then I can kind of mold how I'm gonna present it. Oh, I can read it, sure. I had to bring my glasses so I could be sure to read it. I thought so too, but I wanted to then I just want to run it through with everyone and make sure everyone's included and thoughts are all included. So the Ad hoc Community Trust Commission was established by Loveland City Ordinance 6473. There are 11 members volunteering as commissioners. Want to make sure that's volunteering is on there. We had 7 subcommittees, 24 full group meetings, and 6 subcommittee work sessions. We interviewed 13 people or were given presentations. All right, thoughts and feelings? There were 13 interviews or presentations.
Presentations, okay.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Yes.
I
Gary.
know last week Commissioner Bullard mentioned something about, we ended with 11, but we started with more. Is that, did we get that mentioned in there somewhere?
I had that in there and I took it out, but I can
I
mention
mean,
that.
it's just my thought. I don't know.
There were actually 16 and 2 alternates. No, that one, this didn't even show up to the first meeting. I'm gonna, you guys showed up since the beginning. All right, Lori?
I was just gonna say, and maybe you have it later, but the date of start to end, the,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure they remember, but just in case.
Okay, yeah. Yeah. Okay. Anything else? Oh, yeah. Noted, all right,
Chair Mayor,
yes.
excuse me, I just wanted, Moses, question for you. Since they're going over the PowerPoint, but the PowerPoint's already been published. I don't know that we're able to
So-
make any corrections.
I'm not gonna correct that, but I'm just making notes for myself for what to say tomorrow.
Got it,
That
okay.
one's kind of like, oops, very
I
first
know.
line on the very first slide, but that's okay.
Okay, I just wanted to
Yeah, yeah.
clarify because
Yeah.
it's,
We don't
yeah,
wanna
past
change it,
24
but
hours.
I'll make notes to say it correctly or,
Thank you.
or add things in or, yeah. Oh, no. It's okay. They have this version, so. Okay, commissioners created and volunteered to support 7 subcommittees. 1, community engagement subcommittee. 2, library listening sessions. 3, code of ethics. 4, Ray Mendoza Award. Okay, making notes, that's good. Oops, slide. Okay. 5, Loveland Police Department, Police Citizen Advisory Board, and Karen Gardner. 6, co-responder program. 7, communication and engagement. Thoughts or notes or things that need to be pointed out on there? Gardner, sorry, Gardner. Thanks. All right, then for community outreach, we have the new outreach. Let's Talk Loveland page, CTC community survey, in-person and online promotion of both of those things. Now I put the picture of the, yes.
I'd really like to give credit to Nicole Yost.
Slide 3.
She created this and gave us a lot of direction on how to build this, how to build the survey, how to get each part put together well. And she kept it updated for the most part.
I will make sure to mention her. Anything else we want to add on there? They might ask questions about what's going to happen to it, right?
I'm wondering if they'll ask questions about like what the interaction between the community and the page has been, right?
Yeah, let's see. All right, make a note of that. Do we have numbers? We have numbers, right, Catherine?
I think we have like 5 questions, but I'm sorry, we need to check with Nicole
Okay,
and ask her if she's holding any questions because she doesn't publish them until they're
Approved.
answered.
Yeah. I'm just gonna make a note. We had 5-ish questions. We'll get the answer tomorrow. Approved answers by us. Okay, anything else? Cool. So the community survey and promotion. So in-person promotion, coordinated attendance at city events, including tents, tables, designed business cards with English and Spanish translation, and had banners. the in-person promotion was at the Farmers Market, Loveland Justice League Anniversary, Juneteenth celebration by Heart and Soul, Chilson Rec Center on a couple dates, and the Foot Lagoon concert.
Again,
Yeah.
just want to
Yeah,
give credit to the city for all of that. Tents, tables, business cards, English, Spanish translation, and the banners.
And then online media and promotion, we had social media, Nextdoor, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. Let's Talk Loveland subscriber distribution, e-newsletter promotion on June 23rd and July 8th. Okay, yeah. Cool. Oops, no, I missed one. Okay, did I miss one? Oh, because question one was about if you were a resident, right? Yeah, so we're highlighting a couple questions. So slide 5. These ones potentially, if you feel so inclined, yeah. So, well, let's go through them and then we'll go back. All right, so slide 5, I'm just gonna mention that the first, or we're highlighting questions. So question 2, thinking about the level of trust in Loveland between residents and the city, how do you feel about the following city departments? LPD, city council / leadership, utilities, LF&RD, that's Loveland Fire and what is RD? Wow. LF. Loveland Fire Rescue. Okay, roads and transportation and other. Question 4, please leave a comment describing what you believe should be done to restore or improve the trust in the community. Oh, yes, Tara.
So when I was looking at, I was just wondering, so you did mention it's highlighting 2 and 4, because I was like, well, why is 1 and 3 left out? So
Just
maybe
highlighting.
they might.
Yeah,
ask
I'll
for
make,
that, 'cause I
that'll be
was
the
like,
first thing. Highlighting. Question 1 was just, do you live in the city and what ward? And question 3 was. Oh, yeah. 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 Well, yeah. Yeah. Can you see it?
Here,
Yeah.
so on the next one, the next
Yeah,
slide.
Yeah, yeah.
So the results that we came up with were very similar to the citywide survey that was done where everyone loves and adores the Loveland Fire Rescue Authority and Parks and Rec. And the opportunities for improvement were identified with LPD and above all, city council and or leadership, with more than 50% of the residents seeing issues with city council or leadership and almost 50% seeing the same with LPD. And that was shown in the other survey as well. And going on to the next one.
Okay, perfect. Anything to add there? Yes.
So we're going to show this slide. Are we
Yeah.
going to go over it like you just?
Yeah, so Catherine is
I
going
was
to,
just practicing what I was
Yeah.
gonna say.
Catherine's
Good
gonna do
job.
this slide so that it's like very clear and good.
I like that. Thank you.
And then, oop,
So the next one.
oh, next one, good, okay.
I would just say we took a look at some of the specific areas of opportunity for city council. And there were concerns identified in the comments regarding serving public interest, infighting, transparency, integrity, accountability, civil discourse and respect, and immaturity. All of our recommendations are informed by those specific concerns. And in LPD, it was the same, basically accountability, training, integrity, aggressive use of force, transparency. And so we have directed all of our attention to those concerns when we thought about bringing up recommendations for this body.
Any thoughts and comments on that one? Good. There's another. Did not move. There we go.
I think when you were saying that, that related more to this slide than the beginning slide. It might be easier to follow those specific comments with this slide.
Cool. So yeah, those two slides were the more towards this. Cool. This one, okay, so we have this photo. It's an amazing photo. Catherine sent it to us. However, city attorney and everybody, city staff, can we add in the photo from Saturday since we already gave it's just a photo, so I wasn't sure. We already gave the packet to council, so I wasn't.
Chair Meyer, typically, one is not allowed to add into the packet. You could certainly request that council allow the photo to be shown if you have the photo available.
Okay.
But it would be at that moment that council would decide whether to allow it or not, but it wouldn't be part of the packet,
So during the presentation?
correct?
Okay.
So if you'd have to have it like in some separate way to access it in the event that they voted to allow the slide to be, the photo to be shown.
So could I put it at the very end of the slide pack and then just request it? Or at the end of my slide presentation, and then that way we don't have to hit next if they say no.
Or I think you could give it to our city clerk and she could just have it on a separate
Okay.
file and pull it up if they approve it.
Yes, sure.
So this slide speaks to everything that we have tried to do here. And it's a very powerful slide and it does not change the content of the presentation. It is a mere picture. And if you can tell me that no other presentation to city council has ever had a slide changed or entered, then I'm okay with that. But if you can't tell me that, I'm sorry, I don't think we need to have permission to show. We got Ray DeSal Mendoza's permission. And that's the permission I think we needed.
Chair Meyer. So what I would respond is that this is really city council's call, not the commission's call now that the packet has been published. I understand the importance you place on that, but that is city council's decision. I'm simply telling you what the process is. Are there exceptions? For sure, there's been an exception sometime, but I couldn't point to it. And I'm telling you the standard policy as I see it and as I see it implemented. But I think there is a fair way to get to council by asking them and letting them know that it's important.
Yeah, sorry, we're trying to figure out if we had a slide previously that was addressing the award itself that we sent in, so I need to check. But could you repeat, please, or somebody? So I could, okay. Do I need to ask them? Yes, please.
Madam Chair, I just want to be clear, the PowerPoint you're going over tonight is fine. The PowerPoint that's in the packet's the one that's counts, okay? Because that's the one that's been posted 24 hours in advance of the
Yeah.
meeting. So that's the one we're going. But I think now that we have this packet, I think that slide can be at the fingertips of our city clerk. And when you get to that point that you, in the presentation where you feel you want to put this slide, just stop and ask the council and we can alert them a little bit ahead of time so they know what's
Okay.
happening. So I don't think it's going to be a big deal. It's just I can't modify the packet right now, so.
Yeah, it'll be
And
good.
Chair Meyer, I can confirm that it's not in the packet.
Was there,
There's not a picture. It goes from the survey question right into recommendations.
okay, thank you. Commissioner Swigert.
Mr. Mendoza had some concerns about pictures being taken. Would this be okay?
Just of his family.
Was that his wife and children not be photographed because they could be bullied. We asked specifically, I sent this picture to him today and I asked if he had any objections. He said, oh no, this is a great picture.
Alright,
This
so-
is essentially why he was there.
Okay, we can do that tomorrow. It's a good picture. It'll be all right. Okay, so we will add or ask at council to add this slide in so we can talk about the award. Okay, Catherine, would you want to help us speak to this slide too? Okay. Yeah,
Put it
right here.
right there.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's a good spot.
The clerk can be ready.
Cool, thank you. Cool, all right. Yes. Yeah. Okay, so then we go on to our recommendations. So this is the introduction to the recommendation slide. So we had 4 recommendation areas. Did you guys see I just want to like pause. Did you see the report? And Jeffrey and Patrick? I was like, so good. I was working on it on the airplane, like, oh my, this is so terrible. And then they fixed it and made it beautiful. Yes, so I just, thank you. But yeah, I like the little icons. I'm like, oh, they just so like match. I know that's silly, but I think it's great. Anyways, all right. So we have recommendation 1 was LPD PCAP Karen Gardner. Recommendation 2, co-responder program. 3, communication and engagement, and 4, code of ethics. Oops, it's just a little slow. Okay. So 1.1, accept and implement Jensen Hughes recommendations 5.1 to 5.4 regarding the Police Citizen Advisory Board immediately. 1.2, accept and implement JH recommendation 5.5 regarding developing a citizen oversight model for the LPD. Civilian, sorry. I read that wrong. 1.3, ensure that the PCAB receive quarterly reports on the LPD implementation plan's progress. 1.4, fund the recommendations that request additional personnel and support and provide the necessary resources to city staff so they can implement these necessary recommendations. That's a lot of words. 1.5, accept and implement JH recommendations 2.15 and 2.6 regarding LPD policy 11.39, the blue team reporting and review, to ensure that LPD, city attorney's office, and the Department of Human Resources jointly develop a transparent process which governs external review of blue team reports by the DHR and which memorializes the goal, objectives, scope, and outcome of blue team reports. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, Jensen Hughes. Okay. And then 1.6, ensure that the LPD is actively and continually addressing the community perspective section of JH LPD assessment report. 1.7, ensure that the LPD works on policy 9.01 and completes a written community engagement policing plan. What is 9.01 here? I'm gonna, if they ask, because they might ask.
That's their current community engagement plan.
It's, yeah, I just wanna, if it comes up during this, make sure I'm on top of it. 1.9, ensure that the LPD is utilizing community partnerships. 1.8, sorry, base the LPD community engagement plan and policy 9.01 on a community-oriented policing philosophy. 1.9, ensure that the LPD is utilizing community partnerships with community members and stakeholders to problem solve, offering refresher training for officers on problem-oriented policing, utilizing the SARA model, and offering compassion training for the officers to better support victims. 1.10, ensure that the LPD has an action plan on who runs the DDAX community input sessions on developing a community policing strategy. 1.11, ensure that JH recommendation 3.3 regarding policy 5.05 will be updated after the chief has consulted with the legal department regarding the establishment of an external body to handle complaints involving the chief and other command staff. 1.12, ensure that after the APAO is hired, that JH recommendation 2.11 is written into policy and implemented. 1.13, approve funding to the LPD to allocate for additional staffing for the community engagement unit. 1.14, require the LPD to develop a policy that states that additional training that is associated with any new policies, procedures, department culture, and implementation plan recommendations be offered to officers during their regular workday shifts. 1.15, support and approve funding to tailor the current LPD EIS policy 3.17. This is so many words, you guys. I speak like 10 words a day. Huh? No, that's good. I got it. Thank you. I know I should have brought my water bottle. It's okay. Okay. 1.16, require the LPD to establish a policy denouncing the practice of quotas for the number of contacts made each shift by officers. 1.17, require that the LPD offer and require peer bystander intervention training for all officers and create a standalone duty to intervene policy separate from the UOF policy. UOP, UOF. UOF. Use of force. That's slide 17. Okay, cool. All right, 1.18. Ensure that communications made by the LPD assessment groups regarding new or improved procedures, policies, training, etc., to department personnel are formal, coordinated, and similar. 1.19, require the LPD to deliver quarterly updates to City Council on its implementation plan and require that these updates be made available online to the public, that they include timeframes and additional information if benchmarks are not met, and that the community members be given the opportunity to weigh in as updates are given. 1.20, direct city staff to list the LPD policies link on the main page of the city's website. 1.21, ensure that LPD utilizes the community survey results to work with the community to address the key issues gleaned from the survey. 1.22, offer the community an opportunity to interview applicants for the LPD chief position. 1.23, require that the LPD take responsibility and make a public statement of apology for the Karen Gardner incident. Check. Yeah. Okay, but half check, like a, okay. 1 point, I still felt like it was a good day. 1.24, compel the city attorney to release the Karen Gardner internal investigation report to the public. And then we're on to recommendation 2. Yes, please.
Would love to have Erin right behind you guys if there are questions that she field them.
I was gonna, okay, so I was gonna ask afterwards, but I just asked now. May we request city council to hold questions till the end, just so we can get through this? Because last time we did and it wasn't, they jumped in, but there's so much that builds on itself that it would really help us stay on track if we could just go through it. I don't know if that's,
Um,
you can
After
always
watching a
request it,
couple
right?
of boards and commissions give their presentations, the best strategy was when they asked to hold questions. The issue is you have so much information here that if you ask them to hold it to the end, that's a lot of information to
So if we
hold on
do
to.
recommendation, like one recommendation, do like the whole LPD recommendation, all of those, and then do questions after that section?
That's it, or after each recommendation. The problem is, once you open it up, it's kind of hard to put it back in the
Yeah,
box.
yeah.
So I think your goal of trying to hold questions as long as you can is probably wise,
Okay,
because otherwise it just starts a process. The question will be whether they can ask questions for clarification. Okay, so that's something that that will be on.
because that's what we
So,
did last time, but then it turned into like a tumbleweed of.
yeah, that's why if you just state up front that, and I'm trying to time it, but it's hard to time because you're asking questions. But if you were to say my presentation is 30 minutes, can you please hold questions to the end of that time period? And then go on. And that would be the recommendation, because otherwise I've seen other presentations, they just go into different areas. So.
You can also tell them that there is added explanation in the back behind each recommendation that might answer their questions.
Well, they already have it, so yeah. Who is that? Gary?
I think holding them to the end, and it's going to be up to you to control that. Because as soon as we go, oh, may we show the picture? They're all going to start asking questions. And you just have to say, all we're looking for is a yes or no on this picture. And then if they start to chime in and want to ask a clarifying question, say, I haven't heard clarifying questions come from you guys much anyway, so make sure if they're not answering a clarifying question, that you ask them to put it off to the end or put it in writing and send it to us and we'll get back to them. You know, if you're strong enough, we can put that off, not let them bully us. This is our presentation. We're going to control it, not the council.
Yeah, I'd like to get through the whole thing because it makes more sense when it's all done.
Well, and yeah, clarifying questions are often not clarifying questions. And it's normal to, and even for city council to say, would you like us to interrupt, to ask clarifying questions? Sometimes they ask. They won't, I'm sure. But yes, absolutely. We got it. And besides, they have had this report. They have
Since Wednesday.
hopefully done their homework.
Yes.
Maybe we can use the mayor as an ally too. Just Madam Mayor, can we continue with our presentation and hold the rest of these questions? We're eager to hear your questions, but we need to get through the presentation.
Technically answer some, yeah. Okay, so then recommendation 2 was co-responder program. 2.1, replace the current police first model with a community responder model that focuses attention and resources on strengthening the broader mental health system. 2.2, establish a committee of stakeholders and professionals to build a community responder model for Loveland that can meet the rising number of behavioral health crisis calls. 2.3, adhere to a 1-year timeframe for the committee to develop a more robust community response program. Cool. 3, engagement. Acknowledge wrongdoing of city employees and or policies that led to Karen Gardner's arrest and subsequent trauma to her, her family, and the community at large. 3.2, address the 6 concerns of Loveland residents identified in JHLPD assessment report. 3.3, build community partnerships to ensure the success of programs in regards to financing and knowledge of lived experiences within a project's desired outcomes. 3.4, create a storytelling initiative to build trust and decrease polarization while increasing empathy, knowledge, and connection. 3.5, prioritize strategies listed in the City of Loveland 2021 Community and Engagement Roadmap to inform, educate, and engage residents. Yes.
Were there really 6 concerns or was it 6 areas of concern? And you could just speak to that.
I can, okay, yeah.
Yep, 6 areas, and that was the community
Slide.
perspective section.
Slide 20, sorry, JH, community perspectives.
Pretty much.
Okay. Cool. Awesome, good. I was gonna push my mic button and not the next button. Next. 3.6, mandate language accessibility for community engagement and announcements. 3.7, develop and facilitate library listening sessions using techniques and models that are appropriate for the content and to the specified audience. Okay. Code of ethics, recommendation 4. Adopt a code of ethics immediately that applies to both elected officials and executive level city staff that reflects the pillars of trust as established by the Community Trust Commission. I will have those ready to, if they say what are those, which they have them. But 4.2, adopt a policy that requires a signed code of ethics to be posted on each council member's biography contact page on the city's public website. 4.3, form an ethics commission committee to receive, investigate, and make recommendations on any ethics complaints made against the members of the city council. And then oh, sorry, Patty.
Did we have that code of ethics as part of the packet?
Yes.
Okay.
Right. I wanted to put our picture in there and just again stress that we're all volunteers. We all love this place and we did this out of love and not out of any kind of whatever, anything else. All you need is love. Can we add music? Make it a really fun presentation. And then, yeah, that's good. Yeah. And that's it.
Excellent. Yep, very good.
That's so many words. I will read them all many, many times out loud tomorrow. Don't worry. Okay, I'll call you. Yeah, I'll just talk it through. I'll tell the horses, I'll tell the chickens. Don't worry. Yes.
Catherine was getting ready to say this, but you can slow down.
Okay, yes. I will, I'll take a breath. And I'll have Shane too. The plan was for Shane and I to like switch off so that
True.
there's different voices speaking and it allows time to like
Right,
catch your breath and
right.
take a minute, but he's not here right now, so.
And remember, they like you. Remember from meetings past? They like
I?
you. Yes.
I have a cute hair now. I'm just kidding. Oh, yes. Just because there's lots of white hairs in there right now. But, so slow down. I'll take that note. Yes. Hmm? Oh, city manager, yes.
So thank you, Madam Chair. I was going to ask you how you would like the room set up tomorrow for you. So we have lots of options for you, and I know you're going to talk about it probably next, is how many people would you like to be up at a table with you? I know you'll be in the audience, but we have all these mics. So however you want to do that, just let us know sometime today or tomorrow morning so we can get it set up for tomorrow night's city council meeting.
Discuss thoughts, feelings. Yeah.
I really think it ought to be the three of us. Aaron, Tara,
Shane and me.
yeah, the three of us. I mean, you, me and Shane
Okay.
and Aaron and Tara. And does anybody else feel like they would be the right person to speak to a slide there if somebody got a question they couldn't answer? Maybe Patty, because you pretty much did the communications and engagement one, right? Or no, that was Tara. Sorry, it was Tara. Okay, sorry. So 6.
Here, yes.
Yeah, maybe at the table you have 3 or 4, maybe 5 mics just set up for whatever. And then if somebody one of us in the audience needs to come to that table, there'll be a spot for it. But then the rest of us can kind of try and position ourselves close,
Yes.
off the camera, but close. Because typically when they do it, they got this podium, sometimes they have a table here and a table there. So that table there is the way I would look at it.
I was thinking 4 and let Tara.
I'm not the best for this speaker. Questions about.
Then we can add the extra mic. Okay. Cool. Cool. I think most of the questions are going to be here towards the survey and towards the LPD stuff, because that's just the bulk of the presentation. So,
Hopefully they have some questions about the code of ethics too.
yeah, but we have Shane for that too. Yeah.
I
yes.
really think the 2 tables with 3 seats at each and a mic, even though you don't have everybody there, it says we're open to having more people if needed, like Tara, if she doesn't come up then. And yeah, because we have that's relatively normative, so why not?
Thoughts? Cool. So 4 to 6. We'll just see kind of.
I mean, they
Just-
do that, and
yeah.
I don't, well,
Have all 11 of us. Yeah.
city manager Adams
Definitive.
will have his own report night, because I had a question about the agenda.
Okay, well, let's do that in a minute. More thoughts, feelings. I think 4 seats with mics and then an extra mic for direct questions makes sense. Cool. Okay. Anything else, guys? Yes.
Just sort of maybe a side note. I was told that when presenting something and I think our presentation does meet this, that it's like, I never can remember acronyms or whatever, but SMART. So what we are saying needs to be specific. It needs to be able to be maintained. It needs to be realistic. And it needs to be something that can be done in a timely manner. And I feel that our presentation does.
Sarah?
I also feel like because we are being like absolved, what's the word? Dissolved. But there needs to be that feedback loop. And I think at the end of the presentation, to know how the city council is going to respond to the recommendations, if they're going to take the recommendations, if they're not going to take I just feel like that piece needs to be communicated after a year's work. Yeah.
Could we ask city manager? We say, would it be normal or like something to do to say, do you guys approve of these recommendations? Or like, I don't know, because it would be good for us to know like what we did meant something or is going to stick or not.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I was trying to think how to also word that question too. So you're going to hand them these recommendations, and then somewhere in there, I would suspect you might add some discussion about here they are, and then you're going to ask for questions, right? So you had about a 25-minute presentation. You've asked them to hold questions till the end. So you're going to have questions. And then I think one of the questions is kind of where do we go next? In there is not a question to extend this board. So that was not in there. So was there, I think you've asked to be informed about the implementation of the police work with the implementation plan, but not about these particular recommendations. So one of the things might be is how council will ask the city manager, direct the city manager to keep track of all of the recommendations that have now been made. And what format will that be in? And then there's an ask here for other formation of community groups and things. So all that's part of the discussion too, as well as you get into this with the council. So I think there's a fair question there to ask is what their next step is. And I'm sure they'll turn it, save me. It's I haven't added them all up, but there's over 30 action items here individually tracked. Some have impact just to police, others have for the whole city impact too. So there's a lot of work to yet.
Hang on, sorry. So 2 things, and we can say, what are council's next steps with these and how can we stay informed?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
I would just say on that last slide where it shows the picture of us, that we just say, we were formed with an ordinance to try to establish ways to improve trust in Loveland, to make recommendations for that. We've spent the last year learning everything that we could possibly learn about the processes and policies and just a litany of everything that we've learned. We've come to you with these presentations. This is now in your hands. It is our hope that you will take these recommendations seriously and that you will keep the community informed of your progress. We'd also like to know what your plan is for the Loveland, Let's Talk Loveland page.
Goodness. It'll be good. Audience members, you have any thoughts? Yeah. Sure. A little abnormal, but yeah, we're gonna make it. We're just gonna do weird things.
Public comment is over. Don Pearson, I'm in Loveland. I've heard counselors make the same mistake. And it just drives me crazy when they say Karen Gardner. It is Garner. And she needs to be shown as much respect as possible. And not to get her name right it's just a very basic. So, because you've said it 3 times, I think, during this, and I probably wouldn't do any better. But please try and get her name right. That's just that's all I have to say. Thanks. I have one comment. It's a very thorough presentation, but having spent a lifetime communicating for a federal agency, acronyms are a kiss of death. Everybody here seems to know what LPD and this and that and Sarah and this and that are. The community probably does not know that. And you will probably be doing a disservice if you stick with acronyms without defining them first. And then you can do that, you know. So when you mention JH, say Jensen Hughes, which will be referred to as JH. But the first time that you come across an acronym, tell the world what it is. And if it needs to be repeated, use the acronym. That just will help the listeners. This is going to be recorded and go into posterity. And so for that reason, it's good to be precise. But otherwise, thanks for the work you've done.
Thank you.
Typically, instead of JH, Jensen Hughes is only one more syllable. So that's the one that
I'm gonna have
needs
to
the
go back
most
through.
repetition, I'm afraid.
Yeah, I'm gonna print out the slides so I have it to look at and read. And when I do that, I make a note section under them. College taught me things. Yeah, and then I'll write them out. So they're very easy. Yeah. My timeout. Okay.
You'll catch him in there.
So I'll say this, and I'm not criticizing, okay?
Yep.
So I can tell you from being up there for 6 years, council doesn't like to be read to.
Okay.
And so my concern is, I know how important it is for you to read each one of these, but it makes you speak quickly, right? Because you want to cover it. And some of them are short, and I don't think that's a problem. But when you get into some of the longer ones, I guess I would make a suggestion that you may want to paraphrase that a little bit. They
Okay.
can see it. They can read it with their eyes faster than you can say it. And if you do that every time, somebody's going to ask you to not read them all. So I'm trying to be helpful in this to suggest, it's not trying to diminish from the
Yeah.
importance of it, because I know it's very important and that's what you want to do. I will guarantee you that before you're done, they'll be asking you to do something different. So
Right.
if we can maybe think of that, on the short ones, not a problem. The longer ones, maybe
The
paraphrase.
LPD stuff.
Yeah, hit the high points. They're with you. They're reading through them with you. And their eyes are faster than you. So just a suggestion for consideration.
Else on that? Okie dokie. So then, there's potential, city manager and I spoke a little bit about having an extra meeting with some snacks and decompression if you guys would like. Would you be interested in that? No more. Well, so we technically still have until the end of September. Yes.
I guess for me, if there were questions by city council that for some reason we couldn't speak to then, that would be another meeting that we could all get together. Or if they needed more time to submit written questions, we could go over that. That would be the only reason why I would think we would need another meeting.
Sometimes a debriefing is for your own good.
I would just say that I think it's going to be an advantage to be able to say, thank you for your comment. As you know, we have no more meetings. And so we'll make sure the commission is aware of your thoughts. Thank you. And then Sports Station on
I was gonna say, it's like
October
informal.
3rd for debriefing and tequila.
No longer official. Yes. Kitty.
Yeah, I don't think it's very appropriate that if we have a next meeting with snacks, because it's going out to the public. So I don't think that's really appropriate to broadcast us all eating.
So what I'm hearing is no, but an informal gathering of individuals, well, not volunteers anymore. Okay, so we'll discuss that later. All right. City manager, do you have things for us?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I don't have a lot here. Let me give you quick updates on a couple of things. we're still working on the national survey that we just presented to council last week. So we have a lot of work to do on that one yet. And thank you for your comments and so forth about that. The second thing I wanted to hand out is a document. Here, just a second. I'll hand it out. I'll talk about it.
Real quick, has anybody not signed the card? Oh. It went once and then, but it went early.
So as part of the update, I just wanted to share with you that we've had a community meeting on the encampment ban. We provided you a little card here that you can use as members of outreach into the organizations and people that you see. A lot of people I know you come in contact with about them wanting to know more about this particular subject. There's a scan code there. And this is meant mainly for staff and us to have information to give to people as opposed to, because we send them to our website that has the lovegov.org/homelessness, has all that information in there and has a section too. So I just want to share these with you as little information cards. The other thing was when this group, our committee group was formed for the encampment ban, the first part we were looking at is King's Crossing. So we've reduced about in half the population in that particular area, and we'll continue to work on that and other areas in the city. We are working to do the 137, which was the old 137, is now called the Loveland Resource Center. We'll be putting some tents and other things back there and increasing the ability to place members that need some help or assistance there. And then we'll have a resource there. And then also we're working on the other site called South Railroad. And that one will have tents also and modulars for support to come in and visit with folks, along with facilities, of course, sanitation facilities, water and showers and so forth as well. So we're working on all that to have that rolled out here soon. We hope to have the Loveland Resource Centers in play now. We have about 18 people per night staying there now overnight. And we have guards there, security, and also some of our staff are there now. So, and we'll have that same thing over in the South Railroad Avenue site. So just that's taken a lot of our staff resource time to implement what the council asked for in that particular area. The other thing is to talk about the police chief search. I know you're going to ask me a number and I don't have it exactly yet, but I will know it soon. And that is how many applications we got, and then where we go next. So what we're talking about here is a number of applicants, and then I'll be working with Bob Carden, who you met, all came here to the meeting, and our HR director, and we'll narrow that list down. And then we want to move to a site sometime in the middle part of October. I'm saying now the Embassy Suites, and we will have the whole 1,000-person room reserved. So however many applicants we have that are finalists, we will have an ability for the whole community. We're going to be mailing out a mailer to invite. I think there's 38,000 mailers goes out to every household in Loveland. We're trying to get that worked out. We'll be on social media and everywhere else inviting everybody to come. Of course, you will be made aware of that too as well. And all the candidates will be there. We'll start out with a quick introduction of each of them and kind of a position statement of what they are and what they believe in. And then we'll split them out so that people can come and have conversations with these folks in a quiet session, but it's nice and so forth. We've tried to do that with the fire chief, and we got so many people, it kind of was a little bit crowded. So this one, we're going to spread way out and provide plenty of time for our community to have an opportunity to talk to each one of the candidates, and then give us feedback on cards of what their feedback is, and that feedback will come to me. So just wanted to let you know that's in play right now, and if that happens sometime mid-October, we're hoping sometime in the latter part of November, early December, we'd have a new chief on board. So that's what we're shooting for right now. That's kind of, we'll get it finalized here once we have the meeting with our recruiter later this week. But I want to give you that update too as well, because we're excited about that. And that's all I had. I was out of town here until today, a little bit ago. So that's my report for tonight.
Thank you.
Um,
Oh, quick question. Since we won't have another meeting, how will we get today's meeting minutes approved and posted? Do we?
So Chair Meyer, you can have another meeting to do that. Or if you choose not to do that, you can have, you can send it around and just let people see what it is and approve it
Okay.
based
or
on
just
your
like-
best efforts.
Okay.
Yeah, there wouldn't be voting because you actually don't need to vote for minutes. Basically, you're looking for
Just
anyone
check.
to have
Okay.
corrections to it that they could send to you and then you would just finalize them.
Cool. Yes.
Just again, a clarification, what were you saying by the end of November? On board, okay.
If we have the interviews in the first part of October and then going through the process, we're hoping by end of, to be able to name the chief, we have to go through, obviously, the background. They're doing that. They would do that now on the ones that are selected and continue that process with the ones that are finalized. But we still would have a process there to do part of the background, finish it up.
So they probably wouldn't start until after the first of the year?
Yeah, we're still working on when exactly that start date is. And that's why I say what that schedule is. We're trying to get them on board sometime before the end of the year.
Okay. I just have the feeling
Subject
that
to,
some of our.
subject to passing a background check. And if they've gone this far in our process,
True.
yeah, they've got
true.
moves and things and.
I
all
was
that.
just thinking that some of our recommendations maybe would be put on hold until the new police chief is on board. So I was just,
Yes, and thank you for that clarification, Commissioner Swiger, because some of them will be until we get the new chief on, and our implementation plan identifies those that we think should be held for that purpose, but
Mhm.
others are being worked on
right,
as we go.
right.
And I wanted to let you know that I appreciate all your feedback, and you really dedicated a lot of time, particularly Commissioner Black and Era too. I mean, you guys, 8 hours of meetings over 2 different times. I mean, you really got into it, which we really appreciate. I mean, that's the kind of feedback that we're looking for, and we are back in front of council on October 11th with that presentation to council in a study session.
Commissioner Bullard, yeah.
Microphone on.
got that. I get that there is to be one public meeting basically at Embassy Suites with hopefully hundreds of people there to interview the 5 finalists. And that there is some group that is meeting with each of the individually with candidates. Is that true? Or is there just this one shot then that's it?
Commissioner Millard, I think your question is for the community. Yes, it's one shot. I mean, there is an interview panel, that process that we'll be going through like we always do for any hire that we do. But for the community, it's that one opportunity.
And I realize that the 5 candidates, we're not wanting them to have an extended stay, but I think one public opportunity, I have a word for that I won't say, but I think it's counterproductive.
Commissioner Black.
Thank you. I actually want to follow up on a question that I had asked in the June 27th special meeting that we have regarding Steve Adams and his criminal defense case and who is paying for that representation. And I have a copy of the city's claim summary with CIRSA. And it looks like that in March 29th of 22 and April of 22, It says a criminal defense reimbursement for Steve Adams. Physical assault claim against city manager Steve Adams by Stacy Lynn. And then in all caps, do not contact at this time. And so I'm just curious as to why you're being reimbursed for your defense in that case.
Chair Meyer? So that would be a question addressed to me. As I've noted before, Steve is represented by counsel. We don't interfere with his due process rights. As far as I know, there is no reimbursement to Steve for anything. So I can't tell you why it says that, and I'm happy to look at it afterward, or you are welcome to call our risk management and they can talk to you about it, but there is no reimbursement.
So we can't rely on these reports, the claim reports from CIRSA. We can't rely on these reports.
I would say you could not rely on your interpretation. I'm not sure about the reports.
Okay, so I think a fifth grader would interpret this, that Steve Adams is being reimbursed, a criminal defense reimbursement on 2 different dates. And it's about the physical assault claim with Stacy Lynn. I don't know, there's not much to interpret there. And I was told by you specifically, when I asked, are taxpayer dollars paying for city manager's representation? You said, no, that's taxpayer dollars.
Commissioner Black, I haven't changed my answer. I think you need help interpreting that, or we all do.
Okay, I would like you to look into that for me then, and I can make a motion that we request that city attorney look into why there is a claim summary report from CIRSA that is saying that Steve Adams is being reimbursed for his criminal defense in the physical assault claim case against him by Stacy Lynn. Do you have a second?
Second. Motion, and we'll vote.
I move that the CDC requests that city attorney look into and report back on whether or not it's accurate, this claim summary report is accurate, that Steve Adams is being reimbursed for his criminal defense.
We need to be more specific. Sorry. By email, by how? Because we won't have a meeting.
Email would be fine
Would
unless
that be
somebody
okay?
else.
All right. So amending the motion to add email. 1 second.
I just have a question. Are we asking the insurance provider to answer that question, CIRSA to answer that question as to the detail on
No.
that?
I was asking city attorney to research to see if this is an accurate report or not. This is what the claim summary from CIRSA is saying, that he is being reimbursed.
Right, but to me,
That's not, I don't feel like that's my job to figure that out.
no, but to me, it feels like the answer should come from them. of
Well, I
what- Of
wasn't-
what that means.
Okay, and I was in touch with Jason Smitherman. He is risk manager with the City of Loveland Human Resources Department. And he and I emailed back and forth because I was trying to figure out where the revenue sources came from for that budget line item that pays for our insurance. And yes, it sells tax and other city taxes. These are tax dollars paying for that insurance. And this claim report is saying that he is being reimbursed for his defense.
Okay, so we have a motion and
Just-
a second. Yes.
I think what Commissioner Ward is saying is that the city attorney may not have the definitive answer, whereas CIRSA would have the definitive answer. Can you tell us, CIRSA, is our taxpayer dollars being used to reimburse City Manager Adams for his legal defense? If we ask that of CIRSA rather than
Gary?
The
Or I
attorney,
suppose
who's
that we
already
could-
answered to the best of his ability. I
We could
believe.
go through the HR department instead of city attorney. I just figured this would be something you would want to figure out, city attorney Garcia. I would imagine this should concern you, that there is a report that states that, and that you're not aware of that, and that you're answering a question and there's documentation that goes completely against that. So I would think that you would want to find this out. Or no?
Commissioner Drake?
Well, yeah, it's city tax money, taxpayer money, paying the insurance company for the policy. So if they reimburse them, yes, it's tax money that's paid them. And the fact that he does not know is very disconcerting.
So we still have a motion and a second on the table to ask for clarification from city attorney via email.
And I can still do my research with the HR department with Jason. He's quick to respond. So.
All in favor of the motion on the table? Motion passes. Wait. Yeah, motion passes. Okay, so we've requested a response via email. Okay, done. Anything else? Yes.
I think Commissioner Buller was wanting to ask a question on the agenda, council's agenda, or you mentioned some. I just wanted to make sure you didn't get skipped.
I was just wondering what else is on the agenda for tomorrow?
I have 15 items on the agenda. Can I show you my packet right after
No,
the meeting?
that's
I'd be
fine.
happy to
So
share it with
Where are
you.
we on the agenda?
You're first on the regular agenda, so you'll follow public comment.
Okay.
I think it's at 7:35.
Yeah, we're,
About right.
we're estimating, we have our district attorney here tomorrow night for a presentation, and we're not quite sure how long it's going to last. And normally it'd be there sooner, depending on public comment and how long that is.
All right. Well, if there's nothing else on our table, I just want to say thanks to everybody. Oh, sorry. I won't say thanks yet. I'm just kidding.
Just to reiterate, what time is the council meeting?
6.
6?
Council meeting starts at 6 o'clock.
o'clock. So be here at 6. Okay.
This is kind of late in the agenda. I'm off target.
That's okay.
But I wanted, when I was making that, thank you to the city and Heart and Soul. I didn't, in the community engagement piece, I did not list Heart and Soul. But I really don't know how we could do this, but to really, it's recommend, I guess, that the city really nurture that relationship with Heart and Soul, because it was really amazing what that little nonprofit has been able to accomplish. And I think it's a really valuable thing to our community. So I just wanted that to be communicated. And I didn't do that in the report.
Okay, I'll add a note. Do that.
Yeah.
Yes.
If I can add on that, I mean, we do nurture that relationship and have been for years. So the library particularly has sought out that and a lot of other organizations besides Heart and Soul. So we're nurturing.
Oh, we're ahead of time. We could talk for half an hour.
Kumbaya moment. I just want to recognize a couple of people and I don't even know where to start, but I'm going to start with Tara for doggedly pursuing an award for Mr. Mendoza and never letting that fade. For Catherine, for everything that you did with Heart and Soul, with the library, with the Chilson Center, getting things done and taking numbers. Aaron, oh my God, if I ever need any research done, I'm turning to you. Sarah, the best, seriously, the best chairwoman ever. I can't, I just, oh my gosh. So you guys chime in. I think, just, man, thanks. This group did a tremendous job, and Jeffrey, thank you for all of your facilitation and patience with us and teaching us how to do this, and for you guys teaching us how to function. Yeah, thanks.
I feel like we should recommend that city council have Jeffrey Oh my God. Yeah, mediator. It's like the chills. But yeah, thanks, guys. It was a good year. That was a little bit challenging sometimes, but it was good. Learned a lot. I learned a lot about process. So hey, we can do anything now. All right. Any other comments? Go. Yeah.
I really feel like the Mr. Mendoza award and celebration, that alone, if city council doesn't pick up the ball on any of these other recommendations, if LPD say they drop the ball on the rest of the implementation plan, that was huge. And I feel like if that's the only thing this trust commission, was successful in, then I think we did a good job and we should all be proud of ourselves.
See, that's me. I know you guys all like are so kind to me about that, but I feel like I mentioned it, but everybody did really amazing things with it. And Commissioner Drake, I always want to call you by your first name. Like, I loved that you were on stage and that you spoke up the way you did in the newspaper. I was like, anyways, but I don't feel like everybody contributed to it. And I felt like it showed in actually how it came out. And it is kind of what we're wanting the city to do. It was like a little microcosm of what we're trying to create. And just that the chief, like what he said was so powerful. And not only to our little community, but like the nation, like so many people were commenting on that thread across the nation about like, wow, we've never seen this happen. So I just think it was really cool. And also my little preaching, but so many comments were made for the dementia community. And so many comments were made by children of people who are caring for their parents who have dementia, and like how grateful they were for people like Mendoza, and also in support of the Garner family and how difficult it actually is to care for a loved one with dementia. And so I just felt like, we reached different pieces by listening to one little piece of the story. And so anyways, I just wanted to thank you guys for listening to me yammer. And it built my trust to work with you guys, which is pretty significant. So anyways, thank you.
Commissioner Swiger.
Thank you. That was very nice. I also think that the code of ethics that we put together, that honestly, in my mind, that's like a no-brainer to have that. But yet, based on our surveys and the survey that the city did, it really concerns me that there is such a lack of trust in city council. And if they don't take that seriously, I think that bodes not so good for the city of Loveland. Just wanted to say that. And thank you to all of you for everything.
Yep. John.
I'm so proud of all of us. And when the reporter, I think his name's Will, sat down beside me, he read me part of an email that he received saying that the person who wrote the email didn't think the interim police chief should be making the award. So I was trying to explain to him that we did the award, we invited him to make some remarks, but it was the Community Trust Commission. And I may have opened my mouth a little bit too much in the newspaper article. We'll see what they say tomorrow. But it's been a pleasure to be here.
I want to like applaud Catherine
know.
for that survey. Like,
Oh.
dang, girl.
Just
Not extra work.
one more little point that we might hear about tomorrow.
Right.
In the comments at the presentation, Mayor Marsh said that the city council approved this award. I saw her later on that evening at a social function, and I asked her, I said, you didn't approve the award. We asked you to make this, and members of council said, no, we're not going to give someone an award for the color of their skin, is how I remember. You refused to do it. We brought it up again and again with city manager, and it just never made your agenda ever. And she said that it did make their agenda, that she believes there was something that was passed approving it. Is she maybe talking about the sculpture? Do you know, city manager?
Thank you, Commissioner Barrett. It's good to have a city clerk because she can go back and look into the minutes. I'm not recalling an action was ever taken. The action, the way I recall that is that the council said, yes, that might be a good idea. They asked me to start looking at a process that we could use not only for Mr. Mendoza, but as you recall, for an annual, some kind of it didn't have to be annual, but if somebody really did something great. And so that's where our focus was, starting that process. We brought back to you that drafts and so forth. And your comment was, let's focus on Mendoza first and let the city take it from there as a community-wide award. So that's the work we did to get that to that point. And then we started looking for his name because we said, yes, we'll go research that. You guys work better than our research did. So you got a hold of him before we did, but we were looking for him too. And then once you got a hold of him and talked to him and got the clearance, then we're off, then you all were off and running with your system. But that's, I would say that we were pursuing that community recognition event. That's what we were looking at all along. And
Also, what I understood was the first 3 presentations were study sessions, so they weren't actionable items, correct? So this is tomorrow, a study session?
now study session is there.
Cool.
And so.
All right. Anything else? All right. Look forward to tomorrow. Oops.
Man, somebody's got to say something after this because I don't want to be the Debbie Downer, and I am. One of the first things that we asked for was the IA report. We've never received it. Obviously, we never will. However, in unfinished business, I would like some of us to get together after it comes out. And by the way, there is no reason why that could not have been released because we understand that the person that's holding it up has nothing to do with the incident itself. And there's just no reason why it could not have been disclosed. And so that's upsetting to me. But nevertheless, I would like to get together with people afterwards to go over and then talk to city council or whoever, whatever. But anyway.
I'll be Debbie Epper. Just one more time. I know I'm a broken record. City attorney, hard things can turn out really, really well. When you trust this community to understand, when you trust this community to do the right thing with the information that they're given honestly and with integrity and transparency. That's all.
I also agree with Commissioner Bullard that, after next week, there's no prohibition that we cannot all get together in groups of more than 3 and not have to make any announcements. So we can get together, talk about anything, party, whatever we want to do, and we don't have to abide by those silly rules.
All right. Thank you all again. Like I said, this was one of the best learning experiences. Tough sometimes, but it was good. And I love you guys. Loveland. All right. Meeting adjourned.